up, oily babe? So I'm here today because I wanted to break down chaturanga and the vinyasa. I know for the chaturangas, sometimes our strength is coming in and we want to make sure that we're not making any damages to the lower back, to our posture, and alignment. So I want to make sure that we know modifications to go into the chaturanga vinyasa so we can do it correctly, efficiently, and then over time, as we build strength, we'll work onto the full range. So first I'm going to break down the chaturanga and then the vinyasa. So for a chaturanga is when you come in from your downward facing dog. You'll shift forward into a high plank. First I'm going to go into the full range. You lower down halfway. So it's a mid plank essentially. The shoulders are in alignment with the elbows. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. You unroll through the toes. The knees are lifted off of the ground. I'm pressing firmly onto the tops of my feet and my hands. Gaze is forward. Or if you want to go extreme, you can go it all the way up. Exhale, hips up and back. So that's the vinyasa. It'll look like this. Down dog, high plank, chaturanga, inhale, up dog, exhale, hips up and back. Right, so that is the vinyasa. Anytime in class as I cue vinyasa, that's the flow that you would move into. Now here's a modification to it. Same thing, only with knees down. You start in your down dog. Shift forward into a high plank, shoulders stacked right over the wrist, but right away you drop down to the knees. So notice that it's not a tabletop. So my hips aren't stacked over the knees, but rather from this high plank, they drop straight down. My hips are still down. I'm still in this vertical. You lower down halfway. This is where you're going to start to build the strength. And then from here, you can release all the way down to the ground and find a baby cobra. Or from your chaturanga here, you can press up into an up dog. Knees are lifted, hands and feet. Exhale, hips up and back. Another variation of vinyasa is fucking skipping it. If you had enough of the chaturangas and the vinyasas, you can go high plank and then we'll always meet and down dog. And you can always play with these within class. Let's say you start with modifications, you start to warm up. By the end of the class, you can do 2 full range vinyasas in class. So there's always variations. There's not one way to do yoga. There's not one way that you always have to do it. Each time within class, you're going to have different modifications from either like shoulder injuries or energy levels, right, to pick that energy back up. So don't worry, it's all a practice, and that is exactly what we are doing. If you have any other questions or videos that you want me to do, break down a move, break down a pose, break down